Every once in a while, I like to revisit a game that I enjoyed playing the first time, and either it's just to relive some really cool moments or to maybe check out some stuff I didn't get around to doing the first time. It's always a good time to remember through replaying why I really enjoy certain games. And of course, that makes me want to talk about them. So today, let's talk about Boyfriend Dungeon. Now, as said at the beginning of the video, I will be talking some spoilers, but I won't be spoiling the entire video game. I'm not going to go beat for beat, primarily because I want you to check it out, hopefully after watching this video, but we will still talk about some spoilers to certain character storylines and the overall arching plot of the game. And there is, of course, as the trigger warning stated at the beginning of the game, mentions of stalking. The story of Boyfriend Dungeon is told over a magical summer in which you're visiting your cousin and you're finding love, be it platonic or romantic, within the beautiful seaside town of Verona Beach. And there's multiple things that make this game stand out apart from other dating simulators, one being the roguelike combat, and two being the fact that you don't have to limit yourself to just one character line. As much as I adore dating sims, one of the most stressful thing about them, whether it's an actual dating sim like Monster Prom or a game that just so happens to have a romance element in it like Baldur's Gate 3, is choice. Is picking who I'm going to be romancing for this particular playthrough or run of the game. In Boyfriend Dungeon, you can be polyamorous or you can be monogamous. You can date and romance every single character available, or you could keep them all platonic. The first time I ever played the game, I had a healthy mix of dating and platonic, choosing it based upon certain character storylines and just what I look for in a romantic partner while playing video games, or whatever I felt like worked for their storyline. For example, there's one character who is a K-pop star. His name is Seven, and when I first played the game, I really felt like his story of finding people who are genuinely interested in him as a person, not him as a star, I felt like it was better at the time to move along platonically. The same thing can be said about a few other characters. However, this particular replay, I chose to romance all of the characters, and I found upon replaying that his romance plotline is just as sweet, wonderful, and fulfilling as his platonic plotline. There is next to no difference, save for, of course, certain dialogues and scenes, and that's wonderful. You don't ever feel like you're missing out on anything in Boyfriend Dungeon unless you accidentally say one wrong thing and don't pick up a character. Made that mistake my very first time and never went through Jonah the Axe's storyline, but made sure to do so in this one. Or you just choose not to interact with a character or go on dates with them, be them platonic friend dates or romantic ones. And it's refreshing. While yes, it's important to have streamlined storylines or really make sure that you're putting into a story, it's also really refreshing to have a story like this where you can kind of relax. Don't get me wrong, it takes on a lot of heavy subjects, and all of the plot lines with the characters, be it whether you choose to take them romantically or platonically, are about helping each other out, helping each other grow and become better people, helping each other through tough and scary times. Whether you're helping certain characters become more confident, helping them understand, helping them learn new skills, and so on. And in your player character's case, you're overcoming fear of change and intimacy and things that we can all relate to. Comboed with everything else that's wonderful about this game, it creates a beautiful and charming package that is so worth sinking tons and tons of hours into. Now, I wouldn't be considered an expert of roguelite or roguelike video games. Don't get me wrong, I've sunk hundreds of hours into Hades and other such similar titles that go along with these mechanics, but Boyfriend Dungeon does a really good job of keeping things simple for people who might be newer to the genre or playstyle or combat style, while also allowing you to make things as crazy and complicated as you want if you are somebody that likes this particular brand of combat. And even within the rogue combat sequences of the game, they do intricately and wonderfully weave in the dating aspect. Your relationship bars are like XP. The longer you spend in the dungeon or dunge with a certain character, the further along your relationship can go, and you can trigger extra scenes. There are little sequences and locations within each dunge where you can have a little date with a character, give them a gift, and learn more, as well as learn more about them through some conversation if you give them the right item. Oh, silly me. I forgot to mention why this game is called Boyfriend Dungeon. You're dating weapons. Well, technically, people who can turn into weapons. Each character can turn into a different weapon, something that is very representative of their personality. Each character has a wide variety and different types of move sets. And if you're somebody like me who wants to date or romance or just become friends with multiple characters, it forces you to try out different playstyles with each character. Just as you feel stronger by gaining XP and leveling up, so to speak, your abilities, it flows seamlessly with opening up and understanding each character more and more. Who would have thought that blending roguelike combat with a dating sim would end up being such a happy and wonderful marriage? This is definitely one of my favorite video game soundtracks out there. All of the music by Marsky and Madeleine McQueen is fantastic. It's very poppy, totally gets in your head, and really fits in line with the bright and colorful artwork and tight little sound effects that the game produces. Not going to lie, I have the entire soundtrack on my playlist I listen to in the car, and I love singing along to them. And as a cosplayer, am very tempted to incorporate one or two of these songs into a cosplay performance in the future. It's definitely my type of music, fun, catchy, and all of the lyrics fit in line with the themes of the game. I just think that it's neat. Of course, there is an overarching character and a villain, not just your own fear of intimacy or any other little dungeon monster, with the smith Eric. Now, Eric is a stalker. He is, awful. I can understand why his character and the overall storyline with him might be something that would deter anybody from playing this game, and that's okay. You shouldn't have to make yourself uncomfortable to a point where you might be reliving scary memories, even if the rest of the game is really fantastic. And that's alright if this storyline is not something that you want to deal with. It does fall in line with the overall themes of romance, again, be it platonic or romantic, and understanding of choice, of really, the whole point of the game is to build meaningful connections and relations with these characters. And Eric the Stalker just doesn't see that. He doesn't see the value of weapon people as people. He wants to own you like a thing, regardless of your gender. He chips away at people and becomes a modern-day Dr. Frankenstein, creating a creature that is a reflection of all of the dark, awful thoughts and feelings that he has. It makes for a wild boss fight, and again, I can understand why some people would feel uncomfortable that in the fight there is some sympathy as to why Eric thinks the way that he is, and a little bit of a redemption for him, because let's face it, what Eric does is violating. on a million different levels. And it's not just you that's a victim. And it doesn't matter whether you respond to his texts or not, or how many times you tell him no. He still tries to possess you, not realizing that true love and relationships are earned through understanding, vulnerability, mutual care. He's about possession, and that's not healthy. So while it's a great story beat and fitting for the narrative theme of the game and story to have an unhealthy relationship be the enemy, I can understand why that might not be something that you would want to experience in a dating sim. However, going back to the positives of the game, the voice acting really sells it. There's a lot of talent in this game, and every character, be it good or bad, is acted very wonderfully and again sucks you into the story. There's a little mini game, you can customize your character. It's great. Again, you could spend the entire game only talking to one character. You could date everybody, you could be friends with everybody, or just have a little mixture of it all. Either way, it's a charming and wonderful game, a breath of fresh air in my opinion, and unique to both the dating sim and roguelike genres. It's a game that I hope that you take a chance on. Whether you're somebody who just loves dating games or somebody who just likes combat, check it out. You might just find yourself bopping along and singing along to all of the songs in the awesome soundtrack just like me. Who knows?